the day on another exciting and another power-packed presentation session, value of open source intelligence for risk assessment for brands. And to give this presentation, I would like to call on stage with a big round of applause, Mr. Dhiraj Gupta, CTO and co-founder, mFilterIt. A big round of applause to Dhiraj. Dhiraj, welcome to the stage. Looking forward to a cracking session.
Am I audible? Okay. Thank you for having me here. I'm Dhiraj. I'm the CTO and co-founder at mFilterIt. We're a digital-first organization set up about 8-10 years ago, and we work with a lot of digital institutes in helping them in keeping their digital framework, digital ecosystem clean. We call it the Digital Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. How do we keep the digital ecosystem clean, not just the physical ecosystem clean, which is probably as important as the physical ecosystem now, as more and more digital focus is coming in on everyone. Just the previous panel talked about how being in the digital space is not just is critical, it's mandatory for everyone. Keeping it clean is also mandatory for everyone. You can't just go head first into the digital ecosystem and expect it to work. A lot of discussion on credit risk and evaluating the consumer, but I have a small angle here which is important. A lot of conversation ends up being an inside view for banks. Banks take an extremely sensitive view about all the risk inside. Our employees, our customers, our VPNs, our firewalls, our servers, our infosec security. A lot of psychologists have said, why inside view, right? Why not the outside in view? And isn't the true reflection of your brand more visible from the outside? Your vulnerabilities, your exposure, your risk is probably not inside only, it is outside. And understanding the outside ecosystem is probably as important as the internal ecosystem. Who is looking at the external ecosystem? Who is looking at the outside-in view of the digital ecosystem? In your bank, in your offline branches, you have a guard. You have steel gates. You have locks, right? And that's protecting you if people set up anything near to your real estate. You take action. You resolve for it. But what about the digital ecosystem? I'm going to talk about an interesting topic on open source intelligence and why open source intelligence is extremely critical for financial institutes, especially when you're going into the digital space. Interestingly, it's a concept which has really picked up in the Ukraine war. As per CIA, 90%, 80% of intelligence which is coming in the Russian war is not through spies. James Bond is old school. He's gone. The information of Russia attacking Ukraine was first available on the social media. When tanks started entering from Russia into Ukraine, CIA probably knew it, I don't know. But social media knew it even before Putin went on stage and said, I'm declaring a war. That's the power of social media. That's the power of information available outside, which can give you a lot of information of risk, which is the whole concept of open source intelligence. And open source intelligence can help businesses in improving their digital presence, in keeping the risk low, keeping their customers safe, keeping their brand protected. And I'm going to talk about how this can happen for you. What do we do? As an organization, we have capabilities to scan the entire web. We scan social media, we scan YouTube, we scan Google, we scan websites, apps, blogs, consumer forums. We pick up each and every data point. Someone is talking about something about your brand. Someone is doing a phishing attack on your customers. Someone is putting a fake customer care. Someone has gone on LinkedIn and put a fresher job promotion under your name. Someone has opened up a franchisee website and saying, hey, do you want to become a franchisee of my brand? And is scamming customers of money. We will be able to identify it, tag it, risk it, and in 24 hours, take it down. In 24 hours, remove it so that your actual customers, your own employees, don't fall prey to the scam. Here's an interesting thing which happened just recently. I don't know how many of you have heard of it. I'm sure everyone's from the financial background. SEBI found out that on Telegram, someone made a UTI mutual fund channel, put the logo of UTI, put the name as UTI mutual fund, and was spreading fake information. Customers who were supposedly thinking this is the official handle of UTI got scammed. And as far as I understand, the regulatory body is now pushing financial institutions to do something about it, to clean it. This is the same thing which RBI and SEBI came out with for banks last year. Banks have taken a very convenient approach. I'm sorry to raise this. That, hey, I'm going to send messages. Please don't give your CVV to anyone. Please find the customer care number from our website. Education is fine. But why can't we just solve the problem? Why go through the whole process of educating? Why not just take them down? That's what this tool can do. And much more. I'm going to talk about that. The amount of money spent on promoting consumer education in this space probably can be better spent in just solving the problem. And interestingly, a lot of conversation on digital inclusion and how Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 cities have to be covered up under the Honorable Prime Minister's mission. Who's going to educate them? Do you think your English-oriented SMS and your website notice is going to educate them that they should not go on Google and find a customer care number and call up that? Everyone saw Jamtara. Who's going to protect all those customers? And if a customer of yours gets scammed, do you think he's going to trust you? Do you think he's going to trust the digital ecosystem, which we are all so happily moving towards? So the responsibility of keeping digital ecosystem clean is ours. And that, I think, is the digital Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which I think we all need to be part of. How does open source intelligence work? Collect information, scan it, it's billions of data points. Dumping it all doesn't make sense. You have to scan it, you have to analyze it, you have to risk score it, you have to classify it, find out where your logo is being misused, your name is being used, your profiles are being made, people are putting wrong information online. Get that into an interlinking system which can connect the dots. Hey, this guy was found there, he has this social profile, he has this phone number here, his true caller information is this, his WhatsApp profile is this, he's friends with this. Linking these together is easily, automatically doable. Create a profile, get that fraudster off. It's as simple as that. In less than 24 hours. In less than 24 hours, and probably he'll try again, no problem. Take it down again, and again, and again. In a couple of months, the system starts getting clean. That's, I think, the approach of open source intelligence and the outside-in view of looking at security rather than the internal view of putting your firewalls and security and your trainings of just being inside the ecosystem. Look outside, and that's where the scams are. As I said, 95% takedowns in 24 hours. We have direct access into platforms, into website DNS providers, into Google, into Facebook, into Instagram. We're able to get these off the ecosystem, get these scamsters out, save your customers from the hassle, save your money of the call center, save your cybersecurity team a lot of effort, get rid of fraudsters before they do the fraud. That's, I think, important. But that's just one part of open source intelligence. How else can this work? Merchant onboarding. A lot of news about how PAPG licenses got suspended for a lot of financial entities, right? Why? Not enough KYC checks of merchants. A lot of crypto scams came out where UPI handles were being used, and UPI handles supposedly issued by banks or aggregators for genuine kirana stores and dry cleaner stores ended up into crypto exchanges or ended up into betting sites. All of these can be identified. Your merchant, before he is onboarded in real time, can be verified. His categorization, what is he selling on his website? Is he doing money laundering? Who is the end beneficiary of this merchant? Does he have the right policies on his About Us page, his privacy policy, his phone numbers? Are they valid? Are they correct? Is his SSL certificate in place? Is his website secure? Is he selling adult content or drugs or gambling? All of those can be automatically identified without a bias, tagged, generated, and in real time, you can onboard that merchant at a fraction of a cost, which your teams are probably doing right now. That's the power of open source intelligence. The information is out there. His Amazon reviews, his Google information, his customer care information. What is he selling? What price is he selling? Is he doing money laundering? Is he selling, is his phone number known to be a fraudster's phone number? This information is out there. Right now your teams are probably doing a lot of this manually. How about automating all of this through open source? That's the power of merchant onboarding. And why stop there? Suppose you onboard a merchant and the next day he changes his website and starts selling drugs. Who's going to take care of that? A lot of the scams which we heard about, the Chinese loan apps, right? A lot of the scams we heard of are where merchants were onboarded with a certain documentation and the merchant just conveniently changed, and all of us assumed that we did our best for onboarding these merchants, and we found that that's not the case. If you're doing a physical verification, that's not going to work. The cost associated is impossible. How about doing automated, immediate, continuous monitoring of that merchant every week, every fortnight, every month? So if the merchant changes the game, you know that he's changed his game, something's wrong, before RBI comes knocking or the ED comes knocking, right? Isn't that a better proposition? At a far lower cost, by the way. Brand infringement, fake customer care numbers, fake offers. Your customers are being flooded with all of this. Fake apps. There was a scam where fake app was sent to a customer, the customer installed it, put his net banking username password, he got scammed. Who's responsible for this? You can say legally, no, we are not. That's, by the way, borderline. But at the same time, that customer is not going to trust you anymore. And if he's not going to trust you, he's going to go to someone else. As per the regulator, by the way, the ownership and responsibility of your assets is on you. How many of you seen fake customer care numbers on your ATM business websites, right? Who owns that ATM? You. Who owns that listing? You. Who is responsible for moderating that listing? You. And it has a fake customer care number put in by someone, and customers are getting scammed out of it. That's, in my opinion, your legal liability. Who's solving for it? Transaction laundering. Merchants are coming and registering as a dry cleaner, setting up their UPI handles on gambling sites, and that's resulting in all this PABG license chaos. All of these regulations are because of all of this happening. Can this be identified in real time, automatically? Absolutely. Open source intelligence. IT security breaches. From an outside-in view, how does your IT security look like? Are there vulnerabilities? Is your IPs being used for spamming? Is there a malware? Is there a port which is exposed? Is there an S3 bucket which is exposed? All of those are are available from the outside in, which you can use to solve for and get benefited out of open source intelligence. I'm going to cover up some quick cases. Your merchants, when they get onboarded, we are able to make sure that they are safe, they're secure, they're not fraudsters, their MCC codes, their categorizations. You probably have a huge team trying to do this manually. We'll do this in seconds. We'll validate their documents. If they, for example, are, how about, we'll validate this. Their FSSAI number, for example, it's a restaurant. He gives you an FSSAI registration number. Who's validating it? Well, we can, automatically. Just put the document, we'll validate if it's a valid FSSAI logo number or not, right? All these, for example, the drug control, if it's a pharmacy, a merchant is coming on board and saying, I'm a pharmacy. You're supposed to check his drug certificate. How are you checking it? Manually? Maybe we can solve for it automatically, right? All of these information, just put them in, get an answer, choose and decide what you want to do with that merchant, and move forward in life. It's without a bias, it's safe, it's automated, at a fraction of a cost which you're spending right now. But not only that, once you've done the digital journey once, you cannot do this every day, every 7 days, every 15 days. Which means that if the merchant changes, if the merchant is now bypassing your checks, you can get to know about it in real time. And you can block him, you can suspend him, you can do something about it. Instead of manually doing all of this, the automated system does this for you continuously and helps you in identifying these risks and surveillance issues which you're facing completely from open source. Nothing from your internal ecosystem, nothing from the inside view, everything from the outside view. We did a quick scan for a BNPL startup. A lot of fintechs like to use this to automate their onboarding journey, to simplify their journey. Instead of asking them to take all sorts of documents and come back after 7 days, we do this in 5 minutes. We are able to identify a lot of these cases, accept, reject, create a risk score, and then your manpower is used to just take a decision, which is the critical part. All the data collection, tagging, and risk scoring is done automatically. Transaction laundering. A merchant comes to you, says, hey, I'm a dry cleaner. You give him a UPI handle, and then he sends it on a betting site. How do you solve for that? Well, we've solved for it. We are able to scan all betting sites, crypto exchanges, 24/7, find out what is the UPI handles coming in, is your bank coming in, is there an account ID, an IFSC code coming in, which is yours. Tag that, show that, and send that to you so that you can block it and take action before it becomes a big mess for you. Continuously, these betting sites are playing with your customers' money and your brand name. Do you really think that when on a betting site, I see a bank's logo, it gives me a lot of trust? If I know that it's a scam and I know that this is happening, if I see a fake customer care number of a bank there, does it give me a lot of trust? It does not. And that's something which you need to solve for, if not for the customer's sake, for the regulatory sake. We are able to automatically identify which UPI handles, account, IFSC codes are being used, betting sites, gaming, pharma, adult content. If we find them, we'll be able to immediately flag them, block them, give you the benefit of taking action on it with the full proof and journey of this user so that you can solve for it automatically. Here's an example, and I'm sorry if someone from Axis Bank is here, but 20bet.com, when you go and check out, this is a UPI handle. What is the name? Bhiva Logistics. This gentleman has registered and taken in a logistics-based account, and he's happily running it on a betting site. Is that allowed? Who is checking this and how? That, I think, is an important part of why the PAPG licenses got suspended for a lot of entities, and that's a reason why we are trying to help and get these solutions automated out into the ecosystem so that these problems are solved before they become a problem. Fake websites, fake Google Map locations, fake social media handles, they're all over the place. They're all over the place. I'm talking about large brands, not even fintech brands, where there's more money involved. HUL faces a huge problem of franchisees. People keep making websites of trying to push people to become distributors of HUL. Take money out of it and run away. What does it leave for a brand? It leaves a loss of trust. It leaves complaints. It leaves FIRs. It leaves just pain. Why not resolve it by just removing it in 24 hours? Adult content, fake phone pay rewards, fake lottery scams. We've all seen it. We've all seen it. Each one of us has 100 times seen these cases of large brands. Why not solve for it? Fake customer care numbers are a devil, and the Jamtara time scams are happening all the time, which needs to be solved for. And as a regulatory guideline, these are your responsibility and something we can protect you against. How about WhatsApp? How about Telegram? Covered. Not only our website, apps, social media covered, WhatsApp, Telegrams covered. We'll be able to help you in making sure if people are putting fake apps, people are using scams, people are doing, trying to give you job scams, right? They're spoofing your leadership profiles on LinkedIn and saying, hey, we are hiring for freshers. Here's a link to fill up. We will be able to take them down and clean it. That's the point, I think, which I'm trying to come at. Dark web, why not? Let's do the same thing for dark web as well. Solve for the problem rather than just going around educating and burning money. Solve for the root cause itself. What about IT security? The same thing, right? There's so many information out there on dark web or online of your employees' credentials leaked, your databases exposed. That information is out there. You are sitting inside protecting your turf. Perfect. But information out there can help you in understanding vulnerabilities which you don't even know existed. And that's where open source intelligence can do wonders for your IT security in identifying information before it becomes a mess. And if there are hacks available, there are vulnerabilities exposed, if there are ports open, there are S3 buckets exposed, that information 24/7 automatically can get flagged off to you so that you can resolve for it. If some employee of yours, his account, email, password is leaked, how will you get to know about it? Open source intelligence can do that for you, right? So in summary, there are a lot of vulnerabilities, there are a lot of issues which will keep coming in, right? Credential breaches, right? Official email IDs used. Employees have this very interesting habit of using corporate email addresses for OTPs, right? So when Big Basket database got hacked, obviously all those email IDs and passwords got hacked. And interestingly, 40% of passwords used on Big Basket were actually the same as the password used by the employee for their corporate email account. So on Big Basket, people use the same password as their corporate email account. And when the Big Basket database got leaked, all fraudsters had to do was try that same password on their official email ID, and in 40% cases it worked. So now you don't need to track only your own email IDs getting leaked. You need to track that if that email ID of the personal email ID of your employees also got leaked and the passwords got leaked, there's a fair chance that the password he's used is the same, which you need to protect against. I'm going to skip this. So there are a lot of vulnerabilities out there. As an organization, we work with large banks, we work with large fintech customers, and we are solving this problem for them. We are the leaders in this space, and we're able to make sure that you are protected continuously, and you are able to make sure that your customers see you as a trustworthy party, as a ecosystem which is clean, not just from the inside, but from the outside. And believe me, we've all experienced it. If you see a brand having a lot of gaps, you're not going to trust it with your personal money. And that's the trust which is important for you to generate. And that's, I think, the mission of what we are doing for our clients. That's all from my side. Thank you so much. Open to questions, please.
Thank you so much, Dhiraj, for that wonderful presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Dhiraj Gupta, CTO and co-founder mFilterIt. In the interest of the time, Dhiraj, we will take questions. We will take one question from the audience. So a quick question from the audience, please. Please do introduce yourself and keep it just to one question for Dhiraj. Do we have a question? All right.
Thank you.
Just to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Dhiraj and the entire team of mFilterIt is available throughout the day, and you can reach out to them for the questions. Dhiraj, if you don't mind, would like to ask you to come back to the stage, and we would like to felicitate you as well. And can I have Ms. Malika Mittal, CRO from Mahindra Finance, to kindly do the honors of felicitating Mr. Dhiraj Gupta. A big round of applause to Mr. Dhiraj Gupta for that wonderful presentation on value of open source intelligence for risk assessment for brands.
I hope it was not hard.